Slays over the course of the next month or so. We did exclusives, we did recruiting. Okay, so that's a lot of the recap stuff. Let's dive into one quick segment for the 2025 Music Mondays Awards. So I did want to go over this here while we had an opportunity live on the show. So this will be fun. All right. So this is our fourth annual Music Mondays Awards. We've been doing this for 4 years, since 2022. And for those of you that don't know and you're kind of new here, we've pretty much done it in the same format every single year since we've done the award show, right? And I want to preface this by saying the award show is just for the community and to recognize artists for all the work that they put in throughout the year, and kind of give artists that otherwise would be overlooked some spotlight, right? So it's mainly just for fun. Obviously, the Music Mondays Awards are held in some high regard, right? But again, I just want the community to kind of like have fun, and we want to make sure that everybody kind of gets recognized equally, right? So again, like I said, same format every single year, 10 categories, 10 winners. But again, the only difference from this year as opposed to our previous years, right? We've always done voting on Twitter. But as the years went by and Instagram added a poll feature for regular posts and not just story posts, we kind of tested that out with Battle of the Beats in 2025 last year. So that went pretty well. So I figured, all right, let's take the voting to Instagram as well. So that way everybody kind of has a fair shot, because some people have pretty large communities on Twitter. Some people also have pretty large communities on Instagram, or vice versa, right? So I wanted to make sure that everybody kind of had a fair shot to get their communities involved when it comes down to a lot of these categories, right? So outside of that, like I was saying, 10 categories, 10 winners. 3 Music Monday staff nominations per category. So again, a lot of these categories were decided by the Music Monday staff team, and a lot of these nominees were decided from the staff team. So we like to narrow each category down to about 3 nominees, right? And then we let the community kind of take it from there. Because the Music Monday staff team, like, we could kind of just hand these awards out by, like, you know, our own picks, but we figure we'll at least take it halfway there, right? And we'll get together some nominations, and then we'll let everybody's community and the Music Mondays community kind of pick who they think deserves the award, right? So per usual, the 10 categories are Artist of the Year, Producer of the Year, Engineer of the Year, Designer of the Year, Music Video of the Year, Project of the Year, Most Improved Artist of the Year, Guest of the Year, and Reaction of the Year, and then along with your last award, Up and Coming Artist of the Year. So again, a lot of these categories have stayed the same for the last 4 years. I don't think we'll ever switch them up, unless, like, we find another category that I think fits. But just to keep their tradition consistent, I think obviously these categories will be staying the same for the foreseeable future. All right. But when it comes down to Artist of the Year, your nominations are Most Dope Kimon, The Homie Braden, and The Single Digits. So again, a lot of these nominations here are artists that either worked hard, somebody like Braden, or artists that kind of came onto the scene when it comes down to Music Mondays and just started fucking killing it, like Kimon. And then there's your underrated pick when it comes down to The Single Digits. So again, all 3 of these artists absolutely deserve that. When it comes down to Producer of the Year, you have The Homie Kale, The Homie Ghost, and The Homie Flux. I mean, these 3 in the Producer of the Year category was pretty hard for me, because I feel like producers shined a lot here at Music Mondays, and not just on the show, but I think on the Music Mondays platform in general, right? You got Battle of the Beats, you got some of the interviews that we've done, you've got some of the collaborations and some of the SoundCloud exclusives that we've done, right? So I feel like producers fucking killed it in 2025, so this was a really hard one to narrow down. But again, all 3 of these prods definitely deserve this award 100%, for sure. So if you haven't locked in your votes in any of these, definitely go lock them in. 2025 Engineer of the Year nominations: The Homie Dry My Eyes, King Mark, and TDG. Now, again, I didn't want to just pick engineers that solely engineer, right? I started to think about things outside the box, right? And I started to think about, you know, artists that engineer their own music and kind of progress their sound, right? And that was a big thing for 2025 as well. So again, that's why these picks kind of made the cut, right? Because King Mark, again, self-engineered. Dry My Eyes, self-engineered. TDG, self-engineered. So 3 artists that kind of took 2025 to really, like, work on their craft and sharpen their sword, right? So again, 3 great picks there. 2025 Designer of the Year nominations: Mild Goth Daddy, Konbini, and Michael Minago. Again, 3 artists that we've seen a lot of here on Music Mondays, but Three artists that were fucking consistent as shit, right? Very, very consistent when it comes to their own projects, right? But also other artist projects, for sure. So again, three very, very deserving artists here, 100%. 2025 Music Video of the Year nominations. So we have the homie Most Dope came on again with Beyonce Flow. I went way back for this one. I went way back because I had to go through like not only all of 2025, but I had to go through like 50 Music Mondays podcast episodes that we put out last year to really like figure out like what music videos did drop, you know, around the community and, you know, underrated ones and things like that. So these were like, again, really, really solid picks. Like I said, so we have the homie Most Dope came on with Beyonce Flow, the homie Royal Malco with Escape, and the homie Pez with 9 a.m., which is a pretty recent one, but again, I thought that one was fucking amazing too. So huge shout out to homie Pez. But again, three really, really great picks there. Next category, 2025 Project of the Year nominations. The homie Jordan with Not Now I'm Busy, King Mark with 10 Years Before Disaster, and Laverius and Ghost with Recession Proof. Again, a tough category because there was a lot of projects that I think you could have argued for this spot. But these were three picks here that I thought were worthy not only for the project themselves, but the way that they were promoted, the way that these artists kind of like really stuck with these releases and what they kind of meant to where their sound is at currently, right? So there was a lot of things to factor in here when it comes down to Project of the Year. But once again, three really, really great picks. Next category, Most Improved Artists of the Year, TDG, Laverius, and Jordan. Again, these are three artists that we personally watched fucking progress throughout 2025 in a crazy, crazy way. So kind of obvious picks here for me, but again, all deserving of that award for sure. So next category, 2025 Guest of the Year nominations. So when it comes down to our video interviews and our text interviews, those are all the guests that are usually considered, right? So text interviews, video interviews, and things like that. And again, kind of a hard one to narrow down because we had a lot of crazy text interviews this year and a lot of interviews in general for 2025, I should say. But we have the homie Sin, Ghost, and Aya for that category. Three really, really great conversations. So huge shout out to all of them too. Next category is 2025 Reaction of the Year nominations. So we have the homie Jay Fade with Keep Cool from episode 211. Supersource with Fool for You from episode 219, and Laverius and Ghost with New Tats, episode 220. And again, these weren't just reactions that they were like, oh my god, this is so fire, and I was like, holy shit, I was kind of like gassing the reaction. It was more so like the full-blown reaction of like, okay, like, why is this sick? And for those of you that frequent the show, you guys know how I react to stuff, right? So these are reactions that were like pretty detailed, but also had a lot of good points in them, right? So huge shout out to these three. Love that category. Last category, and probably one of the best categories, 2025 Upcoming Artist of the Year nominations. So we have the homie Through the Real, Fonzie, and RCD, Rough Cut Diamonds. So again, I want to think about artists that I thought in 2025 were not only going to continue their hot streak and just like really kind of keep pushing themselves, but also artists that were like pretty underrated throughout the year that I feel like they weren't like overlooked or like anything like that in like a bad way. I just felt like these three kind of needed more eyes on them. And then again, this is a category where I think you could kind of argue a lot of people for this one, right? So again, I kind of narrowed it down by like, all right, like what did we see on the show? What did we see in our playlist? What did we see in like the usual like community posts and things like that, right? So these were three artists that I think, again, you should check out all three regardless of who wins this one. For sure, one of my favorite categories, 100%. So that's that, my friends. The award show will take place next week on January 19th, 2026. We'll be handing out all these awards once we tally up all the votes from here and Instagram. Again, make sure you go vote in the 2025 Music Mondays Awards. The tweet is currently pinned in chat. Also, definitely go vote on Instagram and Twitter, depending on where you prefer, but it doesn't really matter. And again, like I said, the 2025 Music Mondays Awards will be live next week on January 19th, 2025. Let's fucking get it. Well done. Well done. There's also a 10-man cash prize for first place. Pog, very much pog. Very much pog. So, that's pretty much all the details for the 2025 Music Mondays Awards. Again, if you guys have any other questions or concerns or anything like that, this segment will be uploaded on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So again, make sure you subscribe and stay up to date. We do upload every single Thursday, every single Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists and channel some love, baby. Let's get it. Alrighty, my friends, it's about that time.